all, and the culinary workers and D and Geo. And listen, I was raised to understand that if you live the value of love thy neighbor, you understand the distinction between charity and duty. Charity, I'll give you a little if I've got a little extra. Look at how wonderful I am. I'm so benevolent. Duty. It is the business of each of us. We have a duty to help each other out, especially in times of need. It is our responsibility when people are suffering, when people are hungry. You help people out, and you do it understanding the dignity of each person and your fellow human being. And that's what this is about. That's what you all are doing here. That's what we were doing with the American Rescue Plan, about understanding that right now in our country, people are suffering. People have been unemployed for over a year through no fault of their own. Our babies are hungry. In Nevada alone, 1 in 7 households are describing hunger in their household. In Nevada alone, 1 in 5 households is describing an inability or a difficulty to pay rent. In Nevada alone, 1 in 4 small businesses is out of business. So President Biden, you'll remember a while back, he said, help is on the way. And then he signed that American Rescue Plan, so I would say, help is here. Help is here. Help is here. And as the congressman said, there are a number of things that it does. And so I'm here to also make sure we get the word out so folks know what they are entitled to receive, and also by extension, they remember this is supposed to be the job of your government, which is when you're suffering, when you need a helping hand, when you need a little assistance to just get over a moment of crisis you didn't create. That's when leaders are supposed to kick in to say, I'm here, I see you, and I will help you. So it's the $1,400 direct payment. It's the extension of unemployment benefits. That child tax credit, Dee says people don't understand what that means, but I'm going to try to explain to you. It basically means if you have children and you don't normally pay taxes at a high level, so you get the tax credit, but you pay at a lower level, so you may not get the money back because you haven't paid the tax on it, you still get that assistance because everybody should get the equal amount. It's about saying, about equity. And you know what equity is about? You know, I come from parents who fought for civil rights, right? And the fight was for equality. The point about equity is to understand also, not everybody starts out on the same base. Some people start out on first base, some people start out on third base. The point of equality, the spirit behind it, is we should all kind of end up in the same place, have an equal opportunity to compete, an equal opportunity to prosper. So equity says, let's take into account, not everybody starts out on the same base. That's what is part of the spirit behind the American Rescue Plan. It's saying that children should not live in poverty in America. And so it will lift half of America's children out of poverty. Here in Nevada, that'll be an estimated 40,000 children lifted out of poverty. So these are the things we are doing. But the importance of also looking at things like COBRA is understanding workers. I've been talking with workers in the culinary union who in cases worked 30 years where they worked, 20 years where they worked, 15 years where they worked, and they're now out of work. And so health benefits, right? Culinary workers in particular have been national leaders in fighting for workers' rights around health care. So we're going to extend COBRA benefits so that you don't have to come out of your pocket to pay what your employer was paying for health care when you're out of a job through no fault of your own. These are some of the things that we are doing with the American Rescue Plan. But I'm going to end with a story that I heard from Dr. Scott that really, I think, makes such a point about the human spirit in times of crisis And it makes such an important point about the dignity that each one of us has and that we should respect in each other. And so he told me about how here you've been packing up the bags so that people can drive up. And because COVID, there's no direct interaction, and folks pop open their trunk. And how the volunteers here, when they go to take the bags to put in the trunk of the car, they look down and there are handwritten notes from the family who was the occupant of the car, thanking you for the extension of humanity, the extension of dignity. He told me about sometimes the volunteers will pop open the trunk, or the trunk will open, and they look down, and there's a $5 bill as a tip to the volunteers from people who are barely making it all work, who have nothing extra to give, and are tipping the volunteers out of respect for the dignity of your work. I think in moments of crisis, it presents a real measure of each of us and what we are prepared to do. And I will say, I was at UNLV earlier, and I met with all the healthcare workers there. I'm here with all these volunteers. You are the heroes of this moment. This crisis has been a measure of character and of who the heroes that history will tell kept it all going and gave people the dignity they deserve. So on behalf of President Biden and myself and our country, I'm here to thank all of you for all you do and have been doing. Thank you.